Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel, and welcome to October Lake in Planet Zoo, a project where we're working on building this really large wildlife park situated in the Canadian Highlands. In today's episode, we are going to be delving into the brand new Planet Zoo Africa pack and building a habitat for a group of adorable Fennec foxes. If that sounds good to you and if you do enjoy today's video, please do consider leaving a like on the video, and of course do subscribe for more Planet Zoo content. I upload every Wednesday at 5 PM UK time, and as you can tell, I nearly forgot that it was a Wednesday. It's been a deadline week for me. I'm all over the place, so please do excuse me. With that being said, deadlines aside, I was thrilled to get my hands on this pack and start playing it. So before I go any further, I want to say a huge thanks to Frontier for giving me a key for the new pack, and so that I can make all these videos for you guys and really get into this DLC, which I think is amazing. I love the animal choice, the new pieces of some of the highest quality I've seen in Planet Zoo, like since the start. Really incredible stuff. I'm huge fan. They are quite heavily themed, a lot of the building pieces. They have kind of a North African theme, very Moorish, kind of Moroccan, Egyptian, that kind of area. And it's all really, really interesting and really, really beautifully done. They are quite heavily themed, like I said, so they don't necessarily fit in this particular zoo, but you can bet if I do a slightly more themed park, which honestly I'm kind of considering doing in the future, maybe in a more arid region of the world, those kinds of pieces are going to come in insanely helpful. And even now, there's so many new plaster pieces, so many new really versatile pieces, which I think work extremely well. And honestly, just huge kudos to Frontier as always. I've never been really disappointed with a DLC. All their DLCs have been amazing. Huge fans of all of them. Yeah, really, honestly, I know it sounds like I'm just repeating myself, but they do such a good job each time, and I'm always blown away. This time, the animals as well, I've really, really enjoyed. I mean, I don't even know why I said this time. I love the animals every time, to be completely honest. So I'm thoroughly happy with this one. But I've really enjoyed my time building with this. So I got my hands on the pack today, actually. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this. So yeah, today, same day as all of you guys did. Immediately, I just got in, had some time to myself, just looking at all the new pieces, the new animals, and getting to grips with them a little bit. And I love them. They're brilliant. And here I've decided to start off with the Fennec fox. And here you can immediately see one of my favorite of the new pieces, which is this new mesh piece. We've got loads of mesh pieces, which I think came with the free update that came alongside the Africa pack. Absolutely brilliant. It's going to make creating primate habitats and stuff like that so much more kind of realistic and more fun. So I'm really excited to do that. And I think chain link and mesh pieces are something that you see in all zoos. So it's really nice to have them in the game. But as I said, we're going to be building a habitat for some Fennec foxes, so I thought we should talk a little bit about them and how ridiculously adorable they are. They're probably some of the smallest animals we currently have in Planet Zoo. They are so tiny. They're just incredibly small. It's so weird seeing them in this space, because even though the spaces are already quite small, they still look so tiny in there. They're of course a type of canid. They're a fox native to the Sahara Desert and other regions of North Africa. They are crepuscular, which means they are most active at dawn and dusk. Quite a lot of animals are crepuscular, which is quite interesting. And of course their most distinctive feature is those ears. They've got these massive ears, which have quite a few different purposes. They've got great hearing, which they use to sense out the insects and small reptiles and other things which they eat out in the desert. But also the primary purpose is to dissipate heat, because you're in a space where temperatures skyrocket on a daily basis, and you do not want to be caught without some way to cool yourself. And the fox has these ears to kind of dissipate heat quite effectively in a way that some other animals do, like the African elephant. They've got their big ears, which are really flushed with blood vessels, really easy to dissipate with that large surface area. So it's really quite interesting like that. They're also really social fox, the Fennec fox. They live in these big family groups, usually within with alpha male and alpha female, so a dominant kind of like pair which kind of leads the group, and they're usually all related, so it's really, really interesting. Like I said, they kind of live in these social groups, and they walk right through the desert, and they have quite a large range, though when they find a place they're happy to settle, they dig these really, really big dens, which can be like tunnels that go right down into the sand, and they can be incredibly large for all these different foxes. And apparently they've even seen different families of these Fennec foxes share these den systems, which is really interesting. So just imagine like almost like a little underground city of these foxes, which is such a cool thought. Like I said, they eat lots of insects, reptiles, small rodents if they can find some, but of course this is the desert, this, really harsh terrain, so they don't actually drink water very often. They rely on the water that they find inside their food, so like most animals have a good amount of water content in them, but when they do find water, of course they will try their best to get some of it and then store it in their body as much for later. They are, again, like I said, quite small, so they do have quite a few predators, large birds like owls and kind of eagle type animals, eagles basically, other animals like that. Owls are a big deal, like I said. I believe there's a few different owl species that predate these guys, African horned owls, eagle owls, other things like that. Apparently there've even been reports of hyenas and caracals, which are these other, which is a cat species, and even jackals, which is another canid, preying on these Fennec foxes. But they are also really, really fast, these Fennec foxes. Just like they are in the game, they're really they're zoomy. They just bolt, so it's hard to catch them, even if you are a predator that's also adapted to the desert. But yeah, that's a good bit of info about the Fennec fox that I personally have also learned today. I was not super familiar with this animal. I've seen them in captivity a couple times, and I always think they're incredibly adorable with those huge ears. One really good fact to know as well is that they're not severely endangered at all. They're considered least concern, which is always a big relief to hear. I'm very happy that they're not badly endangered. They're under some threat due to the kind of this illegal poaching for exotic pets and stuff like that, which is not great for this animal. But thankfully they're not severely impacted, not now at least, and there have been efforts to crack down on the illegal poaching for this sort of stuff. So that is good to hear as well. But yeah, very cool animal. Really glad to talk to them about it. And in the game, they're so cute. I've been watching them just run around all day ever since I got the pack. They're adorable. I love how they interact with these new log tunnels that they have. They have these really cute, playful behaviors with each other, where they roll on their back and the other one jumps on it. So adorable and just so lifelike as well. And you'll hopefully get to see that in the cinematics at the end. I think they look amazing. Such beautiful animals. Very, 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 very glad to have them in the game. And they really, I think, feel like they fit this pack quite well. This pack feels almost like a tiny animal pack. Like, every species except for the white rhino is really tiny, and it's quite nice. It's like we've got a bunch of these really quite almost like staples in zoos, like with the meerkat and the African penguin and stuff. They're really common in zoos, but they also fit a kind of a size niche that we don't really explore very much with the DLCs, with these really small animals, and I think that is so cool. The meerkat especially, I think, is probably currently the smallest animal, well, the smallest habitat animal in the game. Not 100% sure, and might not be, but I think it has to be, right? It's so tiny. And we'll probably build a habitat for the meerkat next, and this area of the park is going to be called Little Africa, because you're going to have all these North African animals, which are really tiny, like the meerkat and actually I think the meerkat ranges more than just North Africa. But then you're going to have the penguin and all that just in this area, and they're such tiny animals, so it will be great to include them, I think. And it'll be super cute. And then maybe I'll just include the rhino at the end, so you kind of have that contrast with such a massive, like that's the third largest land mammal, or some people even say the second largest land mammal, depending on how you class hippos. But you know, just having that at the end out of nowhere is kind of a cool contrast, I think. So I'm quite excited to get into the rest of the pack as well. I gotta say, beyond the pieces, like you can see on screen, some of these plastic pieces, like I said, they're a bit heavily themed, which is a good thing, I think. Sometimes you need those heavily themed pieces. All of them flexi color, which is amazing. Well, not all, but a good majority of flexi color, which is amazing. All of the pieces are so good. They really work really well. These plastic pieces, so good. It's nice as well to look at the new foliage. They've got some really good additions. Most are arid plants, so you won't see an awful lot of them in this park, but there's some really good kind of grasses and things, which you will have seen me place in the Fennec Fox habitat, which I think look really nice. It's like kind of a good land grass. We don't have very many of those. We have some nice aquatic grass and stuff. We have these beautiful new log pieces, so you can see on screen. All flexi color, which is brilliant. So nice to see. And I think it's just a really good pack overall. I'd say that's easily one of my favorites, which doesn't mean anything because they're all kind of my favorites. If I were to rank them, I'd say they kind of just rank backwards, like the best to the least best. Like, I'm not even going to say worst because I've enjoyed all of them, really. Like, probably the Arctic pack was my least favorite, and that was the first. And then, I don't know if the Africa pack beats out the Southeast Asia pack for me, just because I'm probably a little bit biased. I'm from Southeast Asia, and those animals are pretty cool. But the Africa pack is pretty amazing. The aquatic pack was incredible. And just like going backwards like that, essentially, in terms of like which ones are my favorite. But yeah, this is the habitat almost complete. If you may have noticed, inside that little building over there, which is another visitor viewing area, we have the new exhibit animal, which is the sacred scarab beetle. So that is a type of dung beetle, one of the more famous ones, because of its association with ancient Egypt and a lot of ancient Egyptian architecture, and in their culture, it was used as a symbol for one of their gods, which was the sun god Ra, or more specifically, a very specific manifestation of Ra, which had a scarab for a face, which sounds terrifying, but also incredibly cool. So, you know, if you happen to have a scarab for a face, I'm sure you find this animal particularly interesting. But yeah, so that this specific scarab beetle was a symbol for these for this particular deity, and it's really interesting how humans made the cultural connection of these beetles rolling balls of dung, and the idea of this deity rolling the sun across the sky, which is really cool in so many different ways. Like, I love seeing how human cultures really, you know, see these animals in their environment and bestow upon them this incredible kind of majesty, and I really think that is so cool. So yeah, a really, really, really interesting animal, and I think it looks really cool in the game as well. It's got a new kind of unique exhibit as well. So if you look at the exhibit, it actually has a giant pile of dung in it, which sounds kind of gross, but it is very cool, and you'll see it in the cinematics as well. And I haven't seen this behavior myself, but they do have a unique dung rolling behavior, which you may catch once in a while because they do have that pile of dung in their habitat. So they do go ahead and roll it every once in a while, which is, you know, fun to watch. And I think it's always cool when the exhibit animals have new behaviors as well. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. We're coming up to the end quite quickly now. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching. Once again, big thank you to Frontier for providing me a key for the new DLC. I'm loving it. I think the DLC is brilliant. Cannot wait to make more content for it. Just more builds. This whole area of the park is now open to us to build. And I think we're going to probably theme it quite towards the African side of things. Of course, we're not going to do too heavily themed or anything like that, but we're definitely going to make use of a lot of the new stuff from this new DLC and the free update. So I'm very excited for that. And I hope you guys are too. Videos are probably still going to be on just the Wednesdays. My schedule is kind of busy at the moment. In fact, this week I've had deadlines most days of the week. It's like my last week of my master's course. Technically, I still have my dissertation, but you know. So it has been my last week of that course. So it's been pretty hectic. I've had so many deadlines, and of course this DLC fell right in the middle of that. So I thought, you know what, I can afford a break to get onto Planet Zoo and play this DLC, and that was an incredible decision because, oh my god, I love this DLC. It's so good. The Fennec foxes are so cute. The meerkats, the The new penguins, they're all adorable, and I cannot wait to play with them more and build more habitats for them. The rhino too, just really excited for it. Every time we get new content from Planet Zoo, I'm always incredibly happy about it because it's Planet Zoo. It's my favorite game. Like, there's no other game that's, my favorite more than this. And new animals is always a good thing. So very happy to keep going with this. So yeah, look forward to another video relatively soon. And as always, please do subscribe to the channel for more Planet Zoo. Do leave a comment down below if you want to leave any suggestions or anything like that. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys!